wrong. Okay, today I'd like to introduce you to a player that I really need introduced to a little bit because I'm very familiar with the Fremont Ross program. And I wrote about his coach when his coach was in high school, but I never met Ethan Green. And I think last year in track, didn't you go to the state 2 years ago?
I would have gone to state for wrestling last year, but it got canceled. Same thing with track season.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we'll talk about that. It's really good. Ethan Green, you're from Fremont Ross. You're playing 3 sports. Why do you like football?
Why do I like football? I think it's where football is where the most opportunity for me is in. I mean, obviously my other sports I could probably flourish in those sports as well, I think, but I think football has the best opportunity for me.
Good. Okay, well now you're one of those guys that plays more than one sport. But let me first, how big are you? How tall? What are your measurements?
I am 6'7". I think last time we measured it, I had a 80-inch wingspan or 81-inch wingspan. I don't know what my hand measurement is. I just got asked that today.
That's okay. How much do you weigh?
I weigh in right now during this wrestling season. I've gained weight since football season, but right now I weigh in about 273, 270.
You have to stay under 275, don't you?
85. I'm still
10 85.
Yeah, okay. So we're trying to put on weight without putting it on the wrong way.
Right, for sure. For sure. Yeah. That's really good. 3 sports, 6'7". It must be amazing to wrestle at that height.
Oh, it's great.
Your leverage has to be unreal.
It's definitely an advantage over all my opponents. You don't get many kids my size who wrestle.
How are you doing now in wrestling?
Right now, I'm the Division I #1 ranked heavyweight, number 15 overall out of all divisions, all weight classes. I'm the number 15 recruit in wrestling in Ohio. 22-0 on the season, 53-9 in my total high school career.
Okay, that's really good. Really good, Ethan. Tell me about track. How far you throw the shot?
Our shot measure, I don't have any recent PR, but my discus measure is the one that kind of I'm actually pretty good with. My discus measure comes in at about, I think, 165 with some inches. I threw that as a freshman. I didn't get to go out there and throw a sophomore year, so we're hoping.
I think I saw you throw the discus as a freshman.
Oh, really?
Was it Tiffin? Did you throw in Tiffin or Findlay? At the districts or regionals.
I threw. Oh, it would have been Findlay. Yeah, I had oh man, don't even.
Okay. Let's talk. We'll come back to football. I think it's really important that you do really well in those other 2 sports. Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell me about you as a person. What drives you, Ethan? What makes you play, or what causes you to want to play 3 sports, and what drives you? What words do you live by?
I think for the 3 sports, I think I play 3 sports because my dad, we're a blue collar family. I mean, my dad's a truck driver. You don't really get much more blue collar than that. First of all, like for 3 sports, one, I love what I do with all my sports. I mean, you can't really complain when you're flourishing and you have my size to play in sports and when you're doing pretty well. And I've always had pretty good success with what I do. But I think the big motivator for everything is like getting a full college education, because I know for a fact that if I did not have my offers for football, I probably would not make it to college because our family wouldn't be able to afford it. So that's really
okay. That's really good. So you're driving, you want to be the best, and you want to get that college education, right?
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
All the other sports keep you in shape for football.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. Who has been influential in your young years here? Who has influenced you a lot?
My father. Ever since I was little, my father is like my biggest motivator in my life. I mean, we've been a single parent family since as long as I can. When I was in high school, my dad was a state runner. My dad was a state runner-up wrestler. He's got a huge box full of football letters. He just wants me to be better than I was in college.
Good. That's really good.
Yeah,
it's good. Tell me, has anybody really influenced you as an athlete?
Like
anybody?
Somebody I looked up to, like as an athlete. Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
I think an athlete, because throwing is more like new to me because I only started throwing in middle school, so I don't really have an athlete I look up to in throwing quite yet, other than my. But wrestling, Jordan Burroughs. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Jordan Burroughs, the best wrestler of all time? I think.
Right.
But football, Rob Gronkowski, man, can't go wrong with Big Gronk. I've always been told I look like him. I don't see it, but I don't. I really don't. I'm built like him.
He hit it last night a couple times.
He really did. I mean, 6 receptions for 2 touchdowns. Come on now.
That's good. What? You're still in the, you're still coming. You're, to me, a late bloomer, a late developer, and there are guys like that that are playing pro football. So that's no problem. But what advice would you give to young people, a freshman? You're going into your senior year at Ross. What would you tell a freshman?
I would tell a freshman who has aspirations to be a college football player, a pro football player. I mean, obviously, the sky's the limit. My advice to a freshman would be to hit the weight room hard now, because the weight room is like where everything starts. Everything starts in the weight room. And I mean, personally, I can say for a fact that I hit the weight room late and it's showing now, but I am hitting the weight room hard now. It's paying off. And I'm realizing that these dudes who are 5 stars have been in the weight room since they were in middle school. And I mean, obviously, I'd love to be a 5-star. That's not really a reality, if we're going to be honest. But hit the weight room hard now, and it pays off later. It's not going to pay off at first, but I mean, weight room. That is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of 5 stars. I don't want to get into this, but that's not quite as big as everybody thinks it is. I mean, well, I'm not a great star guy. Okay, if you could change places with one person for one day, who would it be?
Change places with one person for one day. I would love to change places with like Coach Stud at Ohio State, or like trade places with like a quarterback of anywhere. Get the ball, get the throw around the ball. That would be fun for a change. But no, I think it'd be cool to be like a college offensive line coach or college coach. I mean, I think it's so cool that they get to see all these guys come through and go to the pros, see these high school guys grow up and make it to college. I mean, I'm not the biggest pro football player. College is like by far my favorite level of football in my personal.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So that's why I'm so excited for these upcoming years. But if I could be a coach and be around it all the time, that would be awesome.
What do you do after college?
Obviously everybody shoots for the stars. You want to go to the NFL, but assuming I don't make that 3% who makes it there, I have plans of I want to be a business owner at one point. I have a few ideas, or have a idea that I really wanted to do. My dad inspired me to do it. But if not a business owner, entrepreneur, I want to be a engineer of somewhere.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go to college. That's what my major is gonna be in college, probably mechanical engineering.
Good. Let's talk football here, real quick. What do you have to improve on? What's your strength right now, Evan or Ethan? I'm sorry.
You're fine. I think my strength right now is obviously my God-given size. I mean, you can't 6'7" is not exactly something you just walk across every day. Obviously, I think that is my biggest strength with having my size, my attributes. Another strength I think I have personally is with all this wrestling and throwing and everything. I think balance is another one. I feel
Okay.
personally, I feel like I'm good on my feet, and if like the footwork that I do need to improve on, I feel like it won't necessarily be as hard for me to improve on as it would be for some others.
Yeah. Okay. So as a football player, what do you have to improve on?
I said size in the beginning, but I'm going to say
No,
size.
let's go. Okay, excuse me. Let's go on the football field.
On the football field. On the football field, I think just like technique of picking more coaches' brains on what works better. Like I've attended a few camps or a camp this winter, and one thing that he really emphasized was hand placement. Like your hand placement on your kick sets on pass pro. That is something that I've never even seen before with a hand on the hip and a hand on the outside shoulder. And I tried that out when we did our one-on-one drills, and it worked great. I mean, honestly, just picking more people's brains, learning more technique on the football field would definitely be the
Right. I think the other thing, I looked at your film last night, and I think the other thing is you got to learn to, you run okay. You have to get stronger. You know that. And I think the other thing on Pass Pro, maybe get your feet a little farther apart. You know, get a good base. Sometimes your feet are pretty close together, and that'll hurt. But you're really have potential because of your physical frame. Now you just have to grow into it, you know, and those kind of things. Ohio State had a lineman a few years ago that when he was in high school as a junior, they thought he was too tall. Okay. Well, now he's playing, you know, and he was skinny, but now he's starting for the Lions, Detroit Lions. So that's not too bad. I always liked him. And you got arm stretch.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best thing about playing football? What's the best thing?
The best thing about playing football is getting to spend all that time with your football family. I mean, all my players that I love all my players I play with. We have a great time on the football field in practice. I think it doesn't really get much better than that because no matter, I mean, yes, football field winning games is cool, sweet, but I'll always have my football players and teammates with me for the rest of my life.
Yes, for sure. What about the worst thing about playing football?
Man, the only thing I honestly hate about practice, you get towards the end of the season, you're all beat up. All you want to do is just lay in bed for a week just to recover. Oh, man. But I feel like once you get to college, you get all the professionals in there, you recover every day the proper way. That'd be great. But right now, after practice being sore, lifting everything, that sucks. But I mean, I know one day I'll miss it.
Okay, so let's talk recruiting for just a minute. How is it going, do you feel?
I feel like it's definitely picked up recently. I feel like before New Year's and everything, it was pretty slow. I mean, it wasn't slow. It rolled in at a consistent rate after I got that first and second offer. I feel like it's been at a consistent rate. And then here after New Year's, I feel like recently it's definitely picked up a lot. If you're at that Cincinnati offer today and my Iowa State offer before that, my Tulane offer, now it's really starting to kick in now. I'm definitely getting a lot more follows, a lot more texts, likes on my feed, and other good stuff.
Well, it's a tough time, and like I tell all you guys, all you 22 guys, it's a tough year because you know there's just so many things against you guys. Yeah. And I'm afraid. I hope they can have some camps, but I'm afraid you're going to almost not get a live evaluation, you know, face to face. And that's tough, but I think your video's good. You just have to keep working and find that school that you just have a gut feeling about.
Yeah, I was able to make it to a single camp this winter out in Indiana. It was a 4-hour drive. That's really about the only one that we've been able to.
That's a private camp, all right. That's not a college camp.
Oh no, it wasn't a college camp. It was a private.
It was a private at Indianapolis.
Yep.
Yeah, those are pretty good. But the best thing about it, you see what your competition's like.
Yeah.
And I have a whole different thinking on that as well. Well, you know, Ethan, I really enjoy talking to you. You're new, so I'm learning everything about you now, a lot about it. Because the college coaches that talk to me, they'll ask me about it. And that's one of the things I enjoy doing this, because now I know more. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and say hi to the Long coaches for me, okay? Coach Long and his brother.
I can do that.
Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.